Hello, my name's Maria Toka. I'm a freelance graphic designer and today I'm going to be reviewing design portfolios that you guys have sent me on my Instagram. As we all know, autumn is the best season to land a new job because everyone returns from vacations and companies start hiring a lot more people, whether it's a full-time job or a freelance project. It's the best time of the year. So I decided to help you guys with your design portfolios, which is probably the number one asset that you need if you want to find a new job or a client. This video is a part of our live webinar that I hosted about 3 weeks ago about personal projects. If you missed it, the next free webinar is going to be on the 25th of August. Don't forget to register, the link is down below. So without further ado, let's get started. So now we're going to review some of your portfolios as like a quick break from the presentation. Person who submitted a portfolio. Yeah, the first portfolio, before we start, actually, I wanted to point out when I asked people to submit their portfolios for review, if they want a review, the most common mistakes I already noticed, well, the first one is obvious, not having portfolio. When they say, I didn't realize there was an option. You probably missed my story, or maybe you don't follow me on Instagram, maybe you just found it only from email. Yeah, I wanted to ask that my email subscribers as well, but I already had too many requests from Instagram, so I decided not to announce it there. Yeah, apologies for this. The most common one was obviously not having one, and but even if you have portfolio, I think it has to be collected somewhere at one place online, at least. I'll explain you what I mean. Some people, they sent me links to a Dropbox or WeTransfer with the files, just a set of folders and the files in them. I think if you were approaching a client and sent them the link to your portfolio, I don't think it's really respectful towards a client to make them download something from another website. They may not have time for it. They may not have fast internet for this. And it's in your interest for them to open your portfolio as soon as possible. But maybe they just only have their phone and mobile data right now. It's not really convenient to download something on your phone. Maybe you won't be able to do that. So it might be a big problem. So just because of that, you won't be able to show your portfolio to a potential client who may like your work. So yeah, at least I would recommend you having social media, at least Behance or Dribbble. But even if this is too hard for you and seems like a big deal, at least Instagram with, 7 to 9 posts of the work you do. I mean, it shouldn't be like the same post over and over again, with more or less of variety, just to get an idea what you do. But ideally, of course, having your own website. Having Behance and Instagram is still relevant. It's still good to have them as well, because that's a starting point. That's how they find you. But your own website is a final destination where to send them, and you have a lot more control over the design, just overall the way it looks. So yeah, let's start with this first person who we're gonna review, Scout Duncan. So first of all, thank you for taking your time to create a website. That's really nice. I think it's really professionally done. I really like that you highlighted the words problem solver. Really nice, friendly picture, professionally done. So yeah, I really like that. There's a little information about you. I have passion for visual brand, visual identity. So yeah, everything is good. Legible font. The only thing I would consider is pointing out what you specialize in, which is visual branding or brand identity, layout design and web design. Maybe I would put them separately below as a list with bullet points. I would just repeat them with bullet points just to save time for clients who are in a rush and they don't have time to read through all of that. They would see straight away identity design, layout design, web design. That's all they need to see. Maybe they don't have time to read through all this paragraph. Yeah, or maybe I would highlight them somehow here, just like you highlighted Scout, but maybe in another way. But that's the most important information. All right. So here we can see your projects. I would say I'm not really a fan of this running line
because of its size, it's just so big and loud. It's literally screaming into you, and it's even bigger than the main title, Creative Thinker Problem Solver. I think this information is supposed to be more important. You wanted to highlight that you're a problem solver, but this is supposed to be more like a decoration, but now it's the biggest thing on the website, so I would definitely consider making it smaller, not that loud. And that's how you put together each project. I really like this clear separation of who was the client, the type of design, year, awards. That's always really impressive when you add awards, and a little information about the project. You can view the website or more information. Well, let's look at more information. We couldn't find the page. All right, let's try another one. Well, obviously you need to fix these kind of issues. Bright Road financial services. So I would actually prefer them to be listed vertically, because in this way they are too small and I would like to be able to see it full screen, especially these sort of pictures, when I would assume it's a guideline how to use brand identity, all the elements. This is a very detailed explanation of everything, and that's a shame that I can't open it bigger than this. So yeah, I would like to make all the pictures stacked vertically and to make them bigger. And there is a little bit of a confusion with the font. Bright Road, you've chosen this picture as the main picture representing your project, but the problem is that the logo is shown at a different angle here, not from the top. At the same time, we don't see the surface at the angle. For us, it looks like just a flat surface. We don't see that it's been at the angle. And that's why we may assume that this is the font that you choose. But when we look at the business card, this font looks completely different. It's a lot wider. So this is not the most accurate representation. So it's a little bit weird that you chose it for the main image. Yeah, but for the logo itself, I like the fonts. I can't say that I'm an expert at corporate logos, but I like fonts that you've chosen. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the sign. That just is not associated in me with financial services, but maybe there is a story behind it and a reason, and I would like you to add it here, or maybe you explained it. Visual brand identity resonate with small businesses and not-profits. Yeah, just probably add a little bit of a story behind this particular sign, why you chose, just because of the name, I would assume. Yeah, but overall, when it comes to the presentation of it, the main two issues, I would say that it's a little bit confusing with the angle and the horizontal scrolling. Yeah, other than that, it's a nice project. The next one's SleepingHRA Studios. Let's have a quick look at that. Visual brand identity. Here, I would say that the logo is probably a little bit too big. Maybe the client asked you that. Well, usually clients say make the logo bigger, but I think if you made it smaller, it would look more, how to say, like professional, more expensive, and it would be easier for the eye to concentrate on, especially considering the busy background. The background, maybe I would make a little bit more subdued, not that contrasty. It's not too contrasting, but I would make it even less noticeable of what's going on. And the same thing I would say about these pictures. I would stack them vertically. I think I like the way you represented different elements of the brand. If we're talking about the brand itself, to be honest, I'm not a fan of this big tracking. I see that you have really large tracking, 200. That's a really big distance between letters. I think it needs to have a reason behind it. I used to doing a lot of that a few years ago, like when minimalism was on trend and a lot of companies were doing that. It used to be considered as a really cute, stylish, minimalist look. It looks like that in a way, but when it comes to long passages of text, it's really hard to read. So I would use it as an accent, like not for long text. Even one sentence is just too much for that. Maybe just like additional decorative moment, but not for long text. Yeah, other than that, the logo itself is pretty good. I don't have any issues with it. And here on this poster, I have the issue that the logo is so big. It's the same size as the title, so you would assume that your client was dictating how to represent it. Yeah, I would make it smaller, at least way smaller. Yeah, it could still be recognizable, but not as big, because now they have similar weight and you don't really know who's more important, what's the focal point, and the title is supposed to be more important. All right, let's go back. My career, reach out. I think it's a great place to add your email address. If you want people to reach out to you, you need to give them an email straight away. Go all the way back up. Oh, you have a contact page. Let's work together. Okay, I have a little bit of an issue with these forms. Like, I don't mind them. It may be convenient, but some people prefer collecting emails. Maybe there are some agents or potential clients who just want to collect your email to put in their database that they are going to contact you, but maybe not today. And they don't have such opportunity. You don't say what your email address is. And also, you just don't really have much of a control if you don't have an email. Like, you can't follow up, to send follow-up emails. When you submit this form, you don't even know if a person received it or not. So I would prefer, if I was a client, I would prefer emailing someone myself rather than filling out this form. So what I'd recommend, just to add your email address as well and to give people a choice what they prefer. Okay, and other than that, I think it looks really professional. The website, oh, did we see? Okay, here we see more work. Yeah, it's a little bit strange that you have two separate pages with your projects. I think you could have made a separate project for each of these posters. I don't recommend to combine all the posters together just because of the fact that they are all posters, because in your case they are very different and they could be created for separate projects. So I would rather make a series of posters united with the same theme, but not just throwing all posters at one place, because it kind of devalues each one of them, if that makes sense. Yeah, maybe like you could combine, for example, these two. They are in kind of similar style, but you need to come up with a description. What is the idea behind it? But yeah, and also there is a lot more opportunities how you represent a poster rather than just showing it like the flat design. You put it on a mock-up, you can tell about your process, what it's made for. Even if it's a personal project, you can add a lot to this. All right, but other than that, I don't know where I was in the beginning. Yeah, this is the main page. Yeah, okay, I think it looks really professional. Just a couple of comments. Okay, and the next person we go into Jay Garza. He asked me to review his Instagram because he doesn't have a portfolio, separate website. I see he's got Behance, but as far as I know, yeah, it's empty. So you need to put all of this work to your Behance. Okay, yeah, now I see that those are mostly posters, all in similar style. I mean, you can get the idea what kind of work you would get from you, which is really nice for a potential client. I would assume it's a cover art, right? Album art, yeah. Yeah, I really like this one. Really good understanding of colors and these textures that you applied. I mean, the effect of a halftone. Yeah. This flyer, to be honest, it reminds me of logo folio. You know, these things when designers collect all the logos they've ever created and they put all of them at the same place just to show the variety and the quantity, but each of them are separate. They are all logos and they are all for different companies, and nothing unites them. And in this case also I see each separate element as a different element. There's no connection between them. Like, each element is screaming like, I'm the most important, and you don't really know where to look at. All of them are not connected with each other. that is a problem, I guess. There's no hierarchy. It's the focal point, what's secondary. I think it's quite easy to solve this with just playing with scale. If you would enlarge this as a title and look at it from afar, or like in really small size, you would see this as a main title. Because now it's not that clear. It's a little bit bigger than everything else, but it's not that obvious what to look at the first thing. And just to unite everything together, you need to repeat some of the elements multiple times. That's what creates the coherence and the rhythm. This is a really good poster. I don't have any issues with this one. Maybe this bottom line, I'm not a fan of making it smaller than this one. I would make it the same size just to keep this with the same rhythm, and possibly I would justify it to the sides as well, or maybe I would keep it the same, but at least the same size, just to make them the same. This poster, I really like the image, the effect. Looks like a really old print, even vintage. But the only thing I really dislike about this poster is this top right corner and the text on it, especially this outlined text. It's from completely different style. It makes it look a lot cheaper, like from a local supermarket or something like that, or convenience store. So I would remove this text probably, or at least the outlined text. Maybe Tio or Nacho is debatable, you could leave it. Yeah, and the shape of the poster is a little bit strange, that it's not a rectangle. Like if you put it on a mock-up, maybe just show what's around and we would see why it's distorted like that. All right. Yeah, and these three posters, I can just overall say that I really like them. Here, these vertical strokes are repeated with vertical elements on the background. This is a really nice coherence that's created with this. Yeah, I really like this one. Color combination is really well chosen, which is not easy to do. Yeah, and here this is a nice work, but I'm not sure why the logos are so big. I would probably make them smaller. And this piece of text is a little bit random, like it's not aligned with anything other than the letter A, but I would try to make it in alignment with the guy, with the shape of his shoulder. Like maybe I would make it in 5 lines instead of 4, and to repeat this shape. Yeah, but overall I would like to see it on a portfolio website and not just thrown all at one project, but each of them represented separately on a mock-up. So yeah, there are multiple ways how you can show it. Okay, the next portfolio. Sai, communication designer. First of all, thank you for creating a website. It looks very professional. The only thing is, I'm not really sure why you're using italic here. Usually people use italic when they want to add more dynamic, but here I don't think you really need that. It creates a little bit of a mess, and it's not really aligned with the website. And this square bracket smile feels a little bit off to me. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I think some clients may not take you very seriously if you put smiles or emoji into your portfolio descriptions. Yeah, I don't know if that's really necessary. Yeah, that's just my take on it. Yeah, I really like the way how the projects are presented, that it's really easy to see all of them at the same time, and when you just put your mouse over, you can see what kind of design that is. That's also really handy. I'm not a fan of the font. It's so thin and the tracking is so small, so it's a little bit harder to read for that reason. It looks very decorative and geometric at the same time. Yeah, I would use something a bit more legible. Okay, so let's open one of the projects. Visualization of cocktails. Alright, I really like the font. Contents, aim, concept, final design, breakdown, scope. Everything is thought through. Aim to help people visualize weirdly named drinks better in a creative and fun way. Concept, visual language. It's a little bit hard to read. This text is a little bit too low resolution. It it's a little bit hard to read, to be honest. Or maybe it's made like that on purpose. But I think when it comes to the description of the project, it needs to be legible. Like it's not a part of a creative project. Then there you can make it more creative, and if the aim of the project allows, you can make it less legible. It's okay. But if it's done for people to read from your website what it's about, I think you need to care about legibility. So here, I really like how everything is coherent and aligned with the same style. The illustrations are really nice. To me, it looks really professional. Just really hard to read this body text. Visual language. Yeah, I really like the choice of the fonts and the colors. Shooters. Yeah. Oh, yeah, now I see what that is. It's like you flip these things and learn more about the cocktail. Is that what it's supposed to be? Without flaps. Well, maybe here, I think it's a little bit too colorful here. Like a lot of everything. I would keep the colors maybe a little bit closer to each other on the color palette. Make it a bit more coherent. But I really like the font for the titles, product lineup. Yeah, like here, you have 4 colors, but they are all work in alignment with each other a lot better. Packaging design. I really like the way this is presented, and these hand-drawn strokes. They give a little bit of DIY feel. Yeah, this is really nice. And the packaging as well. It's a really good presentation. And that's a wrap. Okay. Yeah, the only issue would be that it's hard to read. Let's talk food. Okay, right off the bat, I would say that's a lot of text. 90% of people who would open it, they wouldn't read it. So what I'd recommend you to do is, well, first of all, reduce the amount of text. Like cut it in half. Potential client would thank you for that. Or maybe if it's so important, because it's also really wide. So just imagine how long this text would be if you look at it on a mobile. It would take the whole page. Maybe somebody would close this project after that. Like nobody reads that much. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but people don't read these long passages of text. Yeah, if there is something really important, highlight it somehow. Use the bullet points, yeah, or just remove it. It's good having a description for your project, but just 2-3 sentences is enough. This is a lot. Bringing food tourism experience. I really like the logo. I think it looks very authentic to the style of Indian food tourism. Yeah, I think it cultural reference to the logo. Yeah, when you look at it, you can tell it reminds you of something Indian, and yeah, definitely see the cultural reference. And those are the really nice illustrations, I must say. I'm not sure if that many colors are okay to use as brand elements. If those are brand guidelines, you usually select the primary colors and secondary, because if all of them are primary, that's gonna be a little bit too much. Motif design. Okay, the billboard. The problem with this billboard is that you put all the exciting and nice to look at parts, you pushed them away to the sides, and all the boring parts you put right in the center. But the problem is, a viewer, they don't want to look at this part. It's just pure information, nothing exciting about it. Like, I would rather look at these amazing illustrations than at this text. And that's why you can't really identify the focal point, because this text, even though it's in the center, it's not attractive to look at, because the illustrations from the sides, they are overpowering. They are too nice to look at, if that makes sense. So I think your task here should be to highlight the text somehow to make it more exciting to look at, to add a little bit of a visual interest to it. And yeah, the same thing is here. So you need a viewer to pay attention to the text first, if it's the main thing, if that's what you want to deliver. All right. And here as well, I don't really like this combination of red, then black, then red and black again colors, because again, there's no hierarchy. You don't know what's more important, what's less important. Like, everything is mixed. Yeah, and also the shadows, I think, look a little bit too digital, considering that the illustrations are very flat. Yeah, they're also digital, but in a different style. They don't have these blurry elements. They're flat. There's a little bit of a problem with the resolution. It's a little bit too blurry. Yeah, I think here the hierarchy works better in terms of highlighting the logo as a main element and the illustration. Probably illustration is more important. I'm not sure. All right, go back. Yeah, just overall, I really like your portfolio, like this page, because it's more or less in the same style. I mean, not in the same style, but you can get an idea of what style range you would normally use, what kind of things you can expect from you. So it's really nice of you to show a different range and at the same time being consistent with the style, like relatively consistent. Okay, and how can we work with you? Contact again. Why everyone is so secretive about their emails? Like, only I can message you, but that may be convenient for someone, but I think you would need to add your email address, like for the same reason as I said when we were reviewing Scout's portfolio. Like, some people may prefer having an email. It gives them a little bit more of a control about who to contact.
So this was my portfolio review. Obviously, I received a lot more submissions than these 3. We just didn't have enough time. I didn't want the webinar to last for 10 hours, but I will try to film another video with other portfolios I received. So stay tuned for that. I hope it was useful and you learned something new. Let me guys know if you agree with my critique or if you would add something else to what I've said. And don't forget to register to our free webinar on Sunday, the 25th of August. We're going to talk about personal brand for artists and designers, doing passion projects, finding your design style, and of course about ways to monetize it. Also, I'm going to review more portfolios there. The link to register is down below. Also, the next Poster Design Secrets course is upcoming very soon, in about 2 weeks. So join the waitlist down below to be the first one who gets notified and to get special benefits. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye!